Okay, so now I'm closing in on it. I've got most of my major areas, um, at least kind of there. Um, I put in middle tones, which is mostly green, and some of the lighter colors on the river and the water, which end up being kind of on the dark side. But I couldn't wait with the white or the lightest bright, because I wanted to see where those were in the composition and how they were going to play against everything else. Um, one of the practices I learned really at a young age was the concept of herding sheep, where you move along the sheep that's the furthest away from the flock. So whatever part of the painting, whatever aspect of the painting that is furthest away from the remainder of where you're at, you bring that in. So you work on what is most different between what you're looking at on your canvas and what you're seeing in your scene. I vary that once in a while, and I stray from that myself once in a while, but it's a good rule of thumb. So when you look at your canvas, you look at your scene, and you say, what is the most different thing? And that's one of the reasons why I like to start on kind of a darkish tone, because I can automatically use that tone for generally a middle ground. And that the dark when I begin isn't so harshly dark. Middle isn't necessarily, it's already there. It's already there as a tone, as a sort of base of operations. And then the light, you can really see the light on top of all. And I like to get that at least established, if not perfect. I mean, one thing about my general premise is not to fuss too much. So if you can do it in one swoop, that's the best. Once you start sort of playing with it a little bit, it gets a little muddy, and it can get to look overworked, and you definitely don't want that. At least I don't. The thing about compositions is I very rarely use a perfectly horizontal line or a perfectly vertical line. And that's probably why I like having some man-made objects, is that I can use a line or two that are perfectly horizontal or perfectly vertical. But in the real world, you very rarely see perfectly horizontal and perfectly vertical things. And when you're looking at your scene, you're looking at the way things move angle-wise, the slope of the river, the slope of the mountain, you can use the concept of measuring against perfectly horizontal and perfectly vertical. And in your eye, you have to imagine yourself looking out and seeing what is horizontal. I mean, it's such a basic concept. You have to look at the world and say, is that horizontal or is it not? Does it go up or does it go down? Or vertical for that matter. And if you can do that, your drawing is it's just so much easier to draw. I mean, you'll have your format of your square, your rectangle, and those are your absolutes, horizontal, vertical. Everything else strays from that. And in general, I don't like using perfectly horizontal lines or perfectly vertical lines, because I think they're oppressive. And again, that's just my opinion. So there you have it. And I have like one or two perfectly horizontal lines, or maybe close to horizontal lines, but nothing else. Just that bridge. And so yeah, that's good.